Okay, with the continuous growth system that I call SOILS, I really just wanted to create a roadmap to simplify, standardize. I wanted to save organizations time and money. Really, I can only be at one place at a time. So how could I scale all of my mistakes and things that I've learned and scale this new process that I've been implementing that's just getting incredible results? So the questions I had was, well, what should every organization focus on? What are the real components for success? Okay, so once I get that, I also need to then let the organizations know, well, what should each department or value stream do? How do they fit into the organization? What things or activities do they need to do? So then the next question naturally is, well, all right, if the departments need to do that, then like specifically, what should the leader be doing? So how does the leader support this organizational department growth? And then the next question was, how do the team members function within that? And then that goes on through the leadership training on what skills to give the team members. The final question, question D that I had was, when do we do what? Right? So there's lean, there's agile, there's high performance teams, there's all these things out there, but when do we do what? Do we just jump in and start eliminating 8 waste? When do we do 5S? When do we focus on team member development? So I had to answer all these questions. And so that's what I spent a few years working on with various large companies, implementing it, trialing it, adjusting it. So we came up with the answers. So the 6 core components that I'm about to share with you, those are the standards. That answers question A. What are the right ingredients for organizational success? Then we'll go into the 12 particles of growth. So what does each department specifically need to do, and what should the leader concentrate on? And then help align their team members to that. And C is 9 leadership traits, very specific for the leaders. And if you don't have these skills, these are all skills that can be learned and practiced and should be thought about daily and improved. And then D is how and when do I do what? So that's why we came up with a roadmap for growth. Okay, so here's the 6 organizational growth components. So this is the standard that every company needs to succeed. They need to focus on. This is organizational wide, and you'll go through this throughout the module. So this is a high level overview. So you need to focus on purpose and values, make sure they're aligned and lived out. Your people and your culture are engaged, are empowered, they're energized, they're feeling safe, that there's great communication flow organizationally and team-wide, that information is visible, that it's accessible, and that it's constant. And 4 is process flow, that we are thinking about the customer and making sure that all of our products and materials are flowing in small batches, not large batches, so we're agile and quick. And then the 5th one is performance numbers. So it's data, but it's more than data, it's also facts, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And then 6 is kind of the mindset of continuous growth thinking. So that's problem solving, and that's innovation and creativity. So we have our 6, that's kind of how it looks in a nice little snapshot, the 6 internal growth components of an organization that need to be in line in order to grow at a rapid pace. So here are the 12 particles for growth. We'll cover real quick. Continuous improvement. We need to have the mindset and the culture. So these are really for leaders, for you growth leaders to focus on. Have the systems thinking, where you're creating a learning organization. You're looking at things holistically and comprehensively into one system. That way it gets you out of the siloed thinking. So lean processes, if you want to have growth, these are, again, the 12 things. You have to think about lean efficiency, lean material flow, agile workflows. Make sure you're measuring performance, qualitative, quantitative. Got to keep score so you could celebrate wins. You're focusing on problem solving, standardizing your best practices. You have the growth leaders that you're continually learning and sharpening your growth leadership skills. You're sharing information, that your team is aligned around a shared purpose, that your employees feel empowered to make certain decisions, and that you're looking at customer pull you're focusing on the customer, and you're not overproducing products or services that no one wants to buy. That'll get you in trouble fast. And then that there's continuous flow throughout the organization, all the way to the customer. Okay, so here are the 9 traits for growth leaders. Might call it the 9 C's. They all start with the C. Continuous improvement mindset. So a way of thinking that things could get better each day. And I'm going to help them, and I'm going to support daily improvements. Curiosity. So that's humility, doing experiments, just thinking about how things could even improve a little bit more each day. Comprehensive thinking. So as a leader, being comprehensive, that means thinking about the entire value stream, thinking about your suppliers, through your processes, through your department, through the department after you, through shipping, through the customer. So just being able to think comprehensively and throughout the entire system, looking at an organizational view, then a value stream view, then a team view, then an individual view, and kind of zooming in and out of those. The fourth trait of a growth leader is customer first, looking at the voice of the customer and being from their perspective, thinking from their perspective. So the 5th one is cause and effect, where you're looking at the root cause of problems. You're not just putting on Band-Aids, putting out fires, but you're actually preventing fires from happening. The 6th trait for a growth leader is they're a coach. They coach and develop others, and it's proactive. It's not just when they make a mistake. 7th one is communicates effectively. That means you have good communication flow, one-on-one and with your team. 8th is collaborate, so that you could create teams. And also as an individual, you know how to be a team member. I have some people who they can only be a leader. They're not a good teammate. If they're not a leader of a group, they just shut down. So practicing the skill of not only leading a team, but also being a team member and letting others lead. And the 9th one is creates a safe learning environment. This gets into psychological safety and letting people feel safe to come up with ideas, bad ideas as well. And then we rather have people thinking and coming up with bad ideas, because when it's silent and no one wants to say anything, that's a big red flag. All right, and finally is the how to grow, the roadmap. How do we grow? And we're going to get into this in more detail. So quick overview, we're going to understand internal, external, that's the U for you soils. So just that thinking, what's going outside of the walls and versus what's going on inside the walls of your organization. So thinking externally, internally, or internally, externally, just having that thought. Then speaking, sharing information throughout your company or your organization, eliminating waste, whatever doesn't add value to the process or to your people, standardizing those processes, organizing your people and projects, improving flow for customers, then learning by reflecting, checking on what worked, what hasn't worked, and the other steps, and then preparing to accelerate your growth by sustaining and continuously improving, doing daily management on processes and daily coaching cycles for people. So that is kind of a brief overview of the supporting concepts of SOILS.